Welcome to the Vibrant Visibility Podcast. Being visible as a soul-led business owner isn't just about the practical strategies, marketing tips, and tech systems. It's also about the internal systems, the safety of your nervous system, the somatic connection, and the embodiment of being a badass CEO that will support you in all of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And I'm here to share all of that with you on this show. I'm your host, Shani Arsenault, a registered nurse turned visibility coach and business mentor for heart-centered coaches and healers. I created a six-figure coaching practice in my first year of business and scaled to multiple six figures my second year, all in the middle of getting pregnant with my first baby and becoming a new mama. If I can do this entrepreneurship thing, I know you can too. If you're ready to learn how to be a CEO in a way that feels aligned with your heart, become a lighthouse for the people that you're meant to serve, feel free to authentically express yourself and be a magnet for success, and grow your coaching business in a way that is sustainable and fulfilling, I can't wait to be in your ear along for the ride. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be back on the podcast recording new stuff. It has been a couple weeks since I've sat down and actually recorded some things because for the last 2 weeks, I have been going through a lot of different transitions. We had to hire a new nanny because our old one is moving. We all came down with COVID. Like, it was just a hot mess. So needless to say, I've been taking a step back from creating and just kind of letting things run in the background. But I'm really excited. I'm much more energized today. I am pumped to be back here, just coming out with new stuff for you guys. And today I actually really wanted to talk about a topic that is really, really important to me. And I don't think people really understand how urgent being visible is if you want to actually grow your business in a sustainable way. If you're not making the money you want, if you're not signing as many clients as you want, if you are constantly feeling like you're running out of time, if your business isn't growing the way that you hoped, there's a high chance that visibility is actually the issue. Like, you're not as visible. If your business essentially doesn't exist, if people don't know you have a business, if people don't know who you are, if you're not putting yourself out there consistently, and I'll kind of share a little story about this. So I remember I think it was the first year of my business, I had an idea for this group program that I wanted to create. It was centered around self-care and renewing your self-care routine and things like that. This was before I really jumped into business coaching. And I wanted to launch this group. I had all of these ideas for what I wanted to structure the group and just the format of everything. I spent a lot of time brainstorming and outlining what the group would entail. I spent so much time setting it up inside of my little, the system that I was using to deliver all of my coaching offers at the time. And I mean, I spent tons of time creating Canva graphics and doing all this background stuff. And when it came time to actually share about it, I didn't. I maybe shared about it probably once or twice. And then at the end of my launch, I was super disappointed that nobody signed up for the group, and it flopped. It totally flopped. And I didn't really realize that I was doing this at the time, but I was afraid to put it out there. I was afraid to talk about my group. And while I had been pretty successful signing one-on-one clients, group coaching was something very new to me, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I had never done an official launch before, so I didn't really have a strategy going into it, and I did not have a visibility plan at all. I maybe shared about it once or twice, and then I was butthurt at the end when nobody signed up. So if this is something that you have experienced, or you've experienced something similar, right? Maybe you have an amazing offer, but no one knows about it or no one knew about it. And then you're starting to get stressed about filling your group or filling your program or signing the client. And then you're starting to go into all of this self-doubt spiral and potentially financial struggle because you're kind of riding on this launch, you're riding on this business to create some financial stability for you. This is for you. This episode, I'm hoping, is going to be packed with a bunch of practical things and also a little bit of tough love for you if you need to hear it. Okay. So, if you're not being seen consistently, if you're not being visible consistently and putting yourself out there and letting people know what you do, letting people know about your offers, you're probably stuck in one or more of these struggles, right? You're probably stuck in either like you've got some money mindset shit going on. You're having some like money related mindset issues. You're working really, really hard on all of the wrong things, but then you're not doing the money making actions. And we'll talk about that. You're either experiencing that, you're experiencing time exhaustion. So you feel like you're always kind of like doing the things with very little return. So that's also kind of like an energy thing, right? Like you're pouring energy into the things that actually aren't going to bring you money. And then I also think there's a piece of it that's a confidence thing, right? You're not exactly sure of yourself, your identity as a coach. And so you're constantly second guessing every decision that you make in your business, every choice, every visibility choice. And then that leaves you feeling like you're behind or you're overworking, you're on the verge of burnout, right? I want for you guys at the end of this episode, I want you to really understand how to bridge this visibility gap and start creating more money, start opening up time for yourself, start really creating the success that you actually want in your business. And then also that peace of mind, knowing that your strategy is going to work, right? That trust in yourself, that the decisions that you make whenever you're visible, whenever you're launching anything, whenever you're structuring your business in a certain way, that it's going to bring that confidence and that assurance in yourself that you actually know what you're doing. So a lot of people think that visibility is mostly about marketing and messaging. And while I do agree to some extent, I do think that visibility is a little bit more than that. It's deeper. It's actually the foundation of your entire business because if nobody knows about you, you don't have a business. Like nobody can throw their credit card to you and buy your services or buy your product or whatever if they don't know about you. So actually being visible, being seen is the foundation of your entire business, okay? If people don't see you, they can't pay you. Like I want you to think about brands like Starbucks, okay, versus like a small coffee shop with no online presence. Starbucks isn't necessarily better, right? It's not necessarily better quality or whatever, but it is more visible. And it has a lot more of a presence in the community online. And visibility is what builds trust, and that leads to sales. Okay, so I am not going to know about those smaller coffee shops or more of those local businesses unless I see them somewhere, right? I am a huge fan of supporting local businesses and like less franchisee types of establishments, but only if I actually know about them, right? And I know that a lot of their business does rely on word of mouth. But I have seen that smaller businesses, smaller, lesser known businesses do so much better if they can leverage visibility in a scalable way, on a grander scheme, right? So just think about it. Like, how easy is it for someone to find you and trust you and buy from you? You have to make it easy for people to find you. Most entrepreneurs, most new entrepreneurs believe that they don't have time to focus on visibility. But in reality, if you don't prioritize visibility, you will always be chasing people. You will always be chasing clients, and it will feel so unsustainable. Like if we don't create some kind of system that allows visibility to feel easy for you in a way that feels authentic to you and consistent, that's like the key thing here is consistency. When you're consistently visible, clients come to you or the opportunity to connect with potential clients is always there, right? Maybe clients aren't going to always flock to you. And I think that that's something that we all expect whenever we first start our businesses. Like we announce that we have a business and then we expect the clients to just come, but that is not how it works, okay? A coach who posts consistently, not just talking about their offers, but really offering their own personality and being present, right? Like creating a personal brand, talking about their life, talking about their struggles and their own growth journey, their own personal development, their own life. Like when you compare those two types of coaches, one who posts consistently and then the other who only shows up whenever they need to sell something, who do you think is spending less time hustling in the DMs? right? It's so much easier to start connecting and start conversations with people if you are already out there, if people already resonate with your content, if people know who you are and feel like they kind of know you on a more personal level. That connection bridge is so much shorter, and it's just a lot easier to establish those relationships, and they don't always feel quite as cold. So if you want more time, because it does actually save you so much time to be more visible because it bridges that connection gap. If you want to build more time into your business to do the things that you actually love to do, build those visibility systems in that work for you, even when you're offline, right? Schedule content to go out ahead of time, plan stuff out. I think there is this like resistance that I'm finding to in a lot of my clients to planning stuff out because maybe it doesn't feel quite as authentic, but it actually will save you so much time if you do that. You can still create really authentic, resonant content and be visible in a really genuine way without taking that like personal touch out of it. So that's just a little aside. I could go on a tangent about that, honestly. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to mention was visibility. It allows you to have like more authority and it creates more success as you grow. Okay. If you want to be seen as an expert, if you want to have people actually see you, visibility is absolutely necessary, right? Two people with the exact same skill set. Okay. If you take two coaches with the exact same skill set, one is always posting, showing up on podcasts, sharing insights, and then the other is kind of like staying quiet and not really talking about what they do, not really being visible. Who is going to be seen as the leader here, right? Who will get more opportunities? The person that is always posting, showing up on podcasts and sharing their own insights and putting themselves out there over and over again. Even if they are repeating the same things over and over again, they're still going to be seen as the leader. They're still going to get more opportunities coming to them because they are visible. They are out there, right? So you don't have to be the best at everything, but you do have to be seen um as kind of like an authority on whatever topic you coach around or whatever your niche is. So visibility done right, it kind of removes that stress of like, where's my next client coming from, right? If you implement those systems, if there's a really nice balance that you have to have. And you know me, I love doing somatic work. I love doing that like deeper inner work. And I do think that there is a place in business to meld the two, right? To merge the really deeper work with systems and processes and structure, okay? If there's anything that I've learned in my time as a business coach, coaching highly perfectionistic perfectionistic, former healthcare workers as they step into entrepreneurship, it is this. It is that we need structure. Okay. Structure is something that allows us to really thrive because it takes the guesswork out of a lot of stuff and it frees up our energy to focus on like the more creative, fun things. When you have a system, when you have consistent visibility, you're not relying on launches or unpredictable referrals. You have kind of like a really well-oiled machine that works for you and that like again saves you so much time and kind of takes the guesswork out of like, okay, where's my next client coming from? You always will be able to fall back to that process of like consistent visibility, consistent connection. It's just like a part of your routine. This is something that I teach inside of Vibrant Visibility, my somatic group coaching program, is creating a visibility and connection routine that feels really good for you. And then it's non-negotiable, right? You build the visibility and the connection into your business as part of the normal routine so that you always have those like core money-making actions prioritized. So if you want to stop feeling anxious about your business and where your next client is coming from, I promise you, commit to visibility and connection for at least 60 days. Like at least 60 days, even if you're not seeing those results come through right away, what you're doing is planting seeds, okay? You're planting seeds for future referrals. I had a client once who made like 300 connections in like a month. between emails, DMs, things like that. And then she heard crickets for like 2 months after that. Then from all of those 300 plus connections that she made, she filled her practice to 10 clients, right? So that's what I'm talking about is commit to visibility, commit to connection. Even if you're not seeing that immediate validation, if you're not seeing that like immediate external nudge from the universe of like, yes, this is working, commit to it to 60 days. I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it's going to work. So the thing that I want you to walk away with today, just from what I was just talking about, is like visibility in your business. It's not a nice to have. It's like the core of how you create money, how you create time freedom, how you create authority and peace, like decreasing that anxiousness that you have in the way that you relate to your business. So why do people resist being seen? Why do people resist being visible? I talk about this at length in my coaching containers because so many of my clients really do struggle with the visibility piece. Like, why do people resist it so much, even though they know it's important? Okay. And there's a few different things. If you've heard me in any of my previous episodes or any of the live series that I've done, any of the workshops that I've done, I talk about this quite often. And it goes much deeper than just simply being afraid of being visible. There's deeply rooted fears. Okay. Fears of being judged, fears of being rejected, fears of being criticized or being seen as unprofessional. Right? Deep down, so many people fear that criticism and rejection or doing it wrong. And that's just kind of how our nervous system likes to protect us from all of those things, to not be seen, to not put ourselves out there. I did a deep dive on the nervous system responses and visibility in a previous episode. And then I also did a live series on it. So if you're not inside of my Facebook group, go ahead and rewatch those videos. I actually just did a live series on that a couple weeks ago, but it is a somatic nervous system response. That's why people resist putting themselves out there, because being judged, being criticized, getting a troll comment, like those things feel dangerous in our bodies. So that's why people tend to want to stay invisible and not put themselves out there. But staying in the shadows, staying out of the spotlight doesn't actually protect you, okay? It honestly actually keeps you struggling. It keeps you struggling in your business. And then it just kind of goes into this like negative feedback loop. And listen, nobody is judging you as harshly as you judge yourself, okay? Literally nobody. And it's helpful to know here that people are already forming opinions about you. Okay. So you might as well be seen for the right reasons. You might as well just put yourself out there and have a little bit more control over how people see you, how you show up and show your authentic self. We can't really control the way that people react to us, but we can control how we show up, what we choose to put out there, and how often we're visible. So if people are already forming opinions about you, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter if you're visible or not. Another resistance that I find to being more visible is like having everything be super perfect and really overthinking the way that they are visible. So a lot of my clients especially think that they need to get it right before they start showing up consistently, but you can't, you can't refine what doesn't exist. I will be totally honest. My very first live video ever was probably so awkward. It was probably so awkward. It's funny because I started doing live videos a few years ago. I did this like MLM stint with like a weight loss company, and I was required to do all of these like lives and post on social media. And honestly, it was super gimmicky, and I have a little bit of PTSD from it. I think I've talked about it in another episode, but yeah, it felt really gross and really cringe. And you know how Facebook and Instagram, they sometimes have those like memories that pop up in your feed and remind you of maybe content that you posted in the past. I occasionally get some of those videos popping up in my feed as memories. And it just makes me cringe so much because they were so awkward and I could tell that I like wasn't being myself and that it just wasn't genuine at all. But the way that you grow, the way that you really find your own voice is to give yourself a chance to actually refine it, right? Growth happens through doing it. Especially when it comes to visibility, like you just have to do it, taking that action, taking the actions towards being more visible That's kind of what creates clarity, because then you're collecting data and you're refining the data. Okay, so start showing up before you feel ready and then give yourself the chance to actually grow and refine and get clear. You're not going to get clear before you actually do it. I also see that people resist being visible because they don't have a simple, sustainable plan. Sustainable being the key word there. People assume that visibility requires constant content all the time, posting 3 times a day, blah, 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 blah. But it's actually less about constant content and more about consistency, right? Those are two very different things. Constant is like all the time, go, go, go. Consistent is just having a cadence so that people can know what to expect from you. So I'll give you an example of this. A coach who posts only once a week, but has a really engaged audience and they are constantly connecting from their posting once a week versus someone who posts 3 times a day, all the time, never engages in the comments, never actually talks to their audience, but just like pumps out content. That person is going to burn out and that person is not going to feel connected to their people. The coach who's posting once a week and actually fostering connection and really nurturing those relationships, they're going to have more success than the person who's posting 3 times a day, right? You don't need to be everywhere. It's not really about volume. Okay. You just need to be somewhere consistently and not only being visible, but bridging that gap to connection, like to authentic, genuine connection as well. So let's kind of break down visibility into a simple system that you can actually stick to, that will allow you to be consistent and show up consistently, that will allow you to really connect with people on a heart level, and then eventually actually make you money and save you time and reduce your stress. Okay. So instead of doing everything, master one platform. The first step is really just going to be to pick your home base. So master one main platform. If you love talking, I would say podcasts or live video. Hopefully, what you want to do is start with something that can be like more of a long form format. Then you can like repurpose. Okay. We can talk about repurposing. I'll probably do a whole nother podcast on repurposing, but pick your home base, master one main platform. If you love talking, doing podcasts or live videos. If you love writing, maybe email is going to be your strength, or long storytelling types of captions, even a blog. If you really like visuals and video, doing YouTube videos, really focusing on Instagram Reels or Pinterest. The key here is to find some place that you feel really natural showing up. So for me, I love talking into a microphone. I love just babbling about topics that I feel really passionate about talking about. And I don't really need like a script. I don't need it to be super structured or whatever. I kind of just riff. And I really, really like that. So I actually do a lot of podcasts, a lot of live videos. My live series during my launch periods, the live series that I do are probably like my favorite things in the world, because I do get to connect with people, but then I also am just like babbling and talking and just being myself. It's the easiest for me to be myself whenever I'm doing this format right here. So that's step one, pick your home base. Step two is going to be to create a visibility habit, right? One habit. We start with one habit and then we build. If you guys have ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, oh my gosh, I live and breathe this book. I love this book. You want to start with something really small, really simple, and then build upon it. Okay. So instead of trying to post every single day, that may feel like too much for you. That might feel unrealistic for where you're coming from, for where you're starting. So instead of trying to post every day, start with one non-negotiable habit, okay? One live video per week, one email per week, maybe 3 reels per week. If you really, really want to start somewhere small, showing up in stories every day or every other day. Instead of every week, starting every other week, whatever feels comfortable for you. What we're really trying to do is find out where your nervous system currently feels the safest. Okay. If it's not showing up at all, try doing stuff privately first and titrating your way up to being more visible online and being more visible to your community. And then after you focus on whatever that habit is, so if you're going to do one live video a week or one email per week or one blog post a week, you can absolutely take that blog post or that email or whatever and repurpose it so that making content for the rest of your week is so much easier. Okay, so what is one small visibility habit that you can commit to that is non-negotiable, that doesn't feel like you're going to be overextending yourself or leading yourself to burnout? So, step 1, pick your home base. Step 2, create one visibility habit and commit to it. And then the third step is make some of this automatic, okay? Automate some of this shit, because nobody is above scheduling posts. You can schedule posts, you can repurpose old content, you can literally repost. Like, if one of my favorite things that I've ever done, this was back whenever I was using TikTok a lot. I'm not really on TikTok much, but I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Whenever I was first doing TikTok a few years ago, I had one video go super viral, and I reposted the same exact video a few months later, and it was really successful again. So if you have a piece of content that does really, really well, I mean, repost it. Reposting old content, taking old captions and turning them into reels. Like, there's so much that you can do to make this process of being visible a lot more streamlined. Make templates for yourself. If you find that there's a specific format of content that you really love to create, make templates for yourself so that it's easier. Again, you want to make it as easy as possible for you to create, and make some of those really tiny little like technical decisions ahead of time so you don't have to think about it whenever you're actually creating. If visibility feels like a burden, you're doing it wrong. Okay, let's let it be easy. There's so many ways to make it easy. So how can we make it easy for you? Okay, have I convinced you yet that visibility is what you need to focus on? Because I will die on this hill. Visibility is the key. It's the key to making more money, to closing more sales, to signing more clients, to opening up your time, to creating more success and sustainability and scaling in your business, to creating more confidence in yourself to actually run your business like a business and not just a side hustle, okay? So if you're struggling in your business, fix your visibility first. That's like the first thing that you need to fix. Maybe that was a little bit of a spicy take, but I really do believe that visibility is the key, okay? It's why I'm a visibility coach. So if this resonated with you, tell me what resonated with you the most here. And if visibility is something that you struggle with, and if it's something that continues to be a block for you, if you have constantly tried to show up on either social media or in person, and something is stopping you, something is holding you back from fully being seen, from fully trying new things, from actually showing your personality, your quirkiness, what makes you different, I would love, love, love to support you. I have a couple of different spaces for people who are really struggling with visibility in particular. My one-on-one spaces, I have my Vibrant Visibility group. So feel free to DM me. I'm going to put links in the show notes for all the ways that we can work together. But yeah, this is something that I feel so, so passionate about. So I would love to support you in whatever way feels the most aligned for you. And if you dug this episode, take a screenshot of it and share it on social media. Make sure to tag me. I'm at Nurse Coach Shawn with an E. I hope you all are having a beautiful February so far. And I can't believe we're in February already. Like, this year is going by a little too fast, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If this was helpful for you, subscribe to the show to make sure you're always in the loop when a new episode is out. And I would love to invite you to join me in the free Visibility and Tech Support for Coaches community, where we hang out and chat about all things visibility, tech, systems, and heart-centered business building. I regularly share tips and tutorials and go live every now and then, and it's just nice to be in a community with other like-minded coaches and healers. So you can join this free space at alignwellco.com/community, and I can't wait to see you there.